9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. I've got a really amazing book to tell you about. It's called Drone Warrior. Brett Velicovich, and I apologize if I'm saying his name incorrectly. He is a former Special Operations Intelligence Analyst with the United States military. His credentials go on and on and on, and we don't have enough time for all of them, but just trust me, this guy knows his stuff. And, you know, he keeps the world safer. There was a story just yesterday that got me sick about some lady being forced to eat her own baby. Did you see that news story?
That was disgusting.
And you say to yourself, can't somebody go in and take care of these people? Well, guys like Brett are the guys who do this, and they do it with drones. It's amazing. Good morning, sir. How are you? Thank you for your service, by the way.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Where are you right now?
I'm sitting up in New York, so we're doing some interviews up here around the area, and I'm happy to sit down and chat with you for a few minutes.
The horrible nature of the people you are fighting is why we keep cheering on guys like you who can do something about it. If it weren't for you, we would all be under their control, which is what they want. The notes for the book say that this book has classified or previously classified drone operations information. That's pretty cool stuff. So I'm guessing that means we have new information that we're keeping secret, right?
Well, one of the things that, it was very important to me about this book was to make sure that the U.S. government was comfortable with the things that I was saying. And
sure.
So what they mean by that is the U.S. government, in the process of what was supposed to be a 90-day vetting process, turned into 22 months of security approvals and just a wild time. They basically said, hey, this book has more, operations that were approved for release by the U.S. government than any other book. And I thought that was kind of an interesting thing to come out of the government's mouth in this process. But for me, it was so important to make sure that that we were doing the right thing here and getting this content approved. But it also goes, it goes into very close detail of just how drones are saving lives and preserving and saving Americans and going after the enemy and fighting them every single day.
Who makes the decision to use a drone? Is it the president?
So it just depends. It really depends on the war zone. So, the book Drone Warrior covers most of my time primarily in Iraq, and at that point, we had already been given the authority collectively as a group to go and fight the enemy, do everything you can to go after them. And so the authority to use the drones is really brought down to the lower levels, and some of the lower levels that I was at. But when you're talking about, what the media tends to get used to is these strikes in areas where the government doesn't technically operate, that authority is different, and that comes from the higher levels.
Well, that's actually good for me to hear, because that's what I want. I want people who are in the fight to have the authority to use what they have at their disposal. Absolutely, and you got to give the warfighter what they need, and that's the important thing. Is that we have some of the brightest minds in the business of war, some of the most brilliant, Americans that are taking the fight to ISIS every single day. And if Washington is getting in the way and restricting the warfighter from doing what they know how to do best, then we've already lost. And so we have to give those guys the ability to do what they can and give them the tools and equipment. And drones are just one of those important tools for this fight. Wow, it's an amazing thing that I don't know much about. How do you see what's going on? I'm guessing there's a camera in the drone. And do they see you? I mean, is a drone virtually undetectable until it's too late?
It depends. I think a lot of the capabilities and the methods that are used to fly them are meant to make it so the terrorists that we're hunting don't see it. Because if they're watching it and they see it, then obviously they know not to do some of the things they're doing. But no, the way it works is you've got a pilot and a person that's operating the camera. The camera has night vision capabilities. It's got daytime video, and it's live streaming the video back to an operation center that I'm sitting there watching and able to kind of analyze with others around me and pick out these anomalies and figure out, okay, what are we seeing here? Who do we need to follow next? How can we kind of defeat the structure of these organizations like ISIS and defeat the leadership that are controlling it?
Yeah. I appreciate the fact that you came on the show. Thank you again for your service. The book is called Drone Warrior. I have a copy. Call me if you want that one that was sent to me. Brett, give us a website real quickly. The website for you can go to the Drone Warrior, or you can go to Amazon and pick it up there as well, or Barnes and Nobles, pretty much wherever books are sold.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I appreciate you being on the show with us. Stay safe. We are up against the break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Capito and Rob Portman of Ohio, they wanted $45 billion over 10 years to treat opioid addiction. Also proposing changes to rules for health savings accounts to allow HSA accounts to pay for premiums.
Fox's John Roberts in northern Iraq. The landmark Al-Nouri Mosque in Mosul retaken from ISIS. And our economy off to a sluggish start in the first quarter, but the GDP upgraded to 1.4%, previously 1.2. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Just announced during the